Welcome back to another YouTube video. I know it's been a minute, dealing with life stuff, and I appreciate you all still watching and all of that jazz. Or let's just jump into today's video. The Steam Deck. It's now been roughly 2 weeks since I've acquired my very own Steam Deck, and I thought I would give you like a little review, a 2-week review of the Steam Deck, my initial impressions, stuff like that. And so far, the Steam Deck has been thoroughly impressive. Sometimes inconsistent, but generally speaking, very impressive. And now the idea of something like the RGLi and the Lenovo Legion Go is just so much more impressive because of how much more powerful those devices are compared to a Steam Deck. And I love my Steam Deck. It's amazing. The touchscreen is so the screen is so nice. The touchpads are so convenient, if not a little frustrating, depending on the game. I guess my one critique so far, I'm just not a big fan of the back buttons. They don't, on top of them not being very useful for me, they just don't feel very good to press. They take a lot of force to push down, which is nice, so you don't accidentally push them. But I much rather they just weren't there at all, because I personally don't find a lot of use out of the back buttons. They're just not useful. Like in Minecraft, like why would I need that? And when I did try, like, oh, I can maybe bind. I have a bunch of mods installed on Minecraft for performance optimization and stuff like that. But I thought, oh, I could push the back button to trigger activating a waypoint, to put one down. I can't bind it to that because it thinks that the back button I was using was the middle stick click or whatever the fuck it's called. If you push the stick down, it thinks it's that on the right side. So I can't necessarily use it because that's bound to other things. So that was a bit of a bust. So in terms of a lot of the games I do play, either they don't see the back buttons, they treat the back buttons as other buttons, so that's kind of useless, or they aren't necessary for the kind of game I'd be playing. So unfortunately, I guess that's my one critique, I guess. But aside from that, the device has been super useful. Performance has been amazing. Like, seriously, all the things you can do with the Steam Deck. I installed the EMU deck, and I have all my emulators playing on it now. The things the Steam Deck can do are just so thoroughly impressive that I never thought to consider in a lot of these devices. Like, I was thinking when I was initially unboxing it, that, oh, I could do so much, I could hack this thing. I'm like, that's not necessarily what you would do for the Steam Deck in retrospect. If you, in quotations, hack a Steam Deck, that's just installing a piece of software because it's just a computer. Quite literally, you like to make jokes about saying how Xboxes and PlayStations are just computers, but those still do have some sort of special sauce in them. It's a, special system on a chip, that like a whole custom solution. While yes, technically functionally a computer, it is still a custom solution, and so is this. But the Steam Deck having its own just desktop place you can be in. You can switch to desktop mode, go to Google or Firefox or what have you, and just download a random exe and start playing on that. Like, there's so much you can do on this, even though it is a very console-like experience. And I almost imagine if like you were allowed to have a similar desktop front end on an Xbox or PlayStation, you would come out with a very similar set of things people would end up doing with it. But that would be super cool, but it would never happen. I chose to get the 64 gig model, and I ended up upgrading the storage, and I reinstalled SteamOS onto this thing. It is super easy, if not a little bit tedious, to reinstall SteamOS, but I think it's worth it. I saved probably, they don't make a 1TB Steam Deck. Well, I saved a lot of money buying my own storage, and I leave a link down in the description for the storage I used. And overall, it was a thoroughly easy experience, if, like I said, not a bit tedious. But I even have a 1TB micro SD card. Once again, I'll leave a link down in the description of the one I use. It's not the fastest one, but it's mostly for my retro games and stuff like that, so it doesn't need to be blazing fast. The touchpads, awesome. The touchpads are amazing. I'm a little annoyed that the left one doesn't For some reason, it doesn't feel quite as good as the right one. Though I use the right one, no, I use the left one significantly less than I do the right one. So that's fine. All the features, I'm still learning the Steam Deck. You know, it's 2 weeks in, I'm still learning. I'm still finding something new every day. I tried my hand at remote playing from my other gaming PCs and stuff. It's fine. I think it's just not as good as because my internet's not particularly great. So, stuff like that is not always going to be a fun experience. Aside from that, the other software features of the Steam Deck, like having access to the Steam Store, being able to download all my games off my computers, that part is still really cool, really useful. So overall, the Steam Deck software experience has been fantastic. The hardware experience is pretty good. Ergonomics are pretty solid. I just wish the hand grips were flayed out a bit more, like an Xbox controller, how they're sort of at an angle, so you're not like straight hand like a Switch, but a little bit at an angle to encourage a little bit more ergonomic feel. While the Steam Deck is super comfortable, I think if it was a little bit more splayed out, it would have been a little bit more comfortable. It took a lot of getting used to having the D-pad and the ABXY right next to the analog sticks. And my whole family saw it and they're like, that looks like a Wii U gamepad. And I'm like, God damn it, I can't unsee it now. It looks like a Wii U gamepad. It really does. The charging port situation on top, I wish it had 2 charging ports at least, one on top, one on bottom. Same critique for the Switch. I wish it had one on top and bottom. But since it's just the one, I can live with it. I have a whole Steam Deck hub thing that I use to, when I was setting the Steam Deck up, installing a bunch of software. It does make it a whole lot easier to interact with the whole desktop mode in that, rather than using the touchpads and activating the keyboard. It's frankly, it's a very clunky experience, but I don't see any way how it could be better. So that's fine. I'm just gonna say one thing. The volume buttons are fucking amazing. They feel fantastic. And I don't know why, but they're so big and so, clicky. I love it. Performance. We're now entering the performance part of this 2-week review. I haven't found a single game on the Steam Deck that I own unplayable. Like, there's so many games I could be playing, and they all work just fine. I haven't installed some games. Like, I haven't tried Starfield on this. I haven't tried Jedi Survivor on this. But out of the games I have played, Tiny Tina's Wonderland, Elden Ring, Dark Souls 3, like a bunch of super fun single-player games, some newer, some older, it runs them like a champ. Sure, you might not be able to play all bleeding edge games, but once FSR 3 and once all those, upscaling technologies really become more available in newer future games, the Steam Deck might certainly have a much longer life than we are expecting. And I know I did a video talking about it, but the Steam Deck is still absolutely worth it because there's nothing out there really that offers this kind of performance and value in just overall quality experience that the Steam Deck does. People have tried. Some have much cheaper devices, but they're all absolutely garbage for the most part. But overall, yeah, the Steam Deck, this little 2-week review, it's amazing. I can't recommend it more. Like, honestly, before I would recommend the Steam Deck. They're like, oh, you should get a Steam Deck. It's super cool. It does this and this and this. But now having a personal, experience with the Steam Deck longer term, this thing's awesome. I am singing this thing's praises from up on top of the mountain. I'm shouting them down to the people. This thing is so cool. The gameplay experience, the hardware, the software, all is very unique and super cool. And I can honestly say that this is something like the Switch Pro that we've all wanted and hoped for. Because, like, even though this thing might age out in, 2 years or something like that in terms of not being able to play modern games, that's not saying that it still can't play all of those games it did in the past. It might need a new battery replacement at that point, but 3-4 years from now, when the Steam Deck has been replaced, it will still be able to play all the games it did in the past. So if you exclusively play those older games at that future older games, it'd still be a tremendous value because though performance, there might be a new Steam Deck at this current price. Imagine a Steam Deck in 4 years. You could get a base model Steam Deck in 4 years used, probably aimed at being somewhere in the realm of like $200 or something. In 4 years, I can see the value of this thing dropping considerably once a new Steam Deck comes out. So, in 2 years, if you seriously wanted to wait, or 2 or 3 years, if you wanted to wait and get a Steam Deck, yeah, I'd still probably recommend then if you're exclusively playing those older games. But honestly, the Steam Deck in review, this 2-week review, I love it. I've never been happier with the gaming experience. I will be recommending this thing like crazy. I'm going to sound like a sponsored person because holy cow, do I think the Steam Deck 2 weeks in is still just the coolest device ever. So that's the video. What are your thoughts about the Steam Deck? Have any of you recently purchased the Steam Deck and still discovering something new every single day? What have you been playing on your Steam Deck? I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. And thanks again for watching. A lot of stuff has been happening in my life. I recently had my birthday, so that's super cool. I turned 21. And thanks again for watching. It's been so nice seeing all the support on the videos. Don't forget to like and subscribe and all that other social media garbage down below. And have a wonderful day.